everybody and welcome to Scrapbook Saturday. My name is Tatiana and I'm from Tatiana Creative Stamping Up Adventure, and I'm an independent Stamping Up demonstrator in Australia. I have a love affair, could we say? I don't know, can we say that? Possibly. With paper crafting, and that started with scrapbooking. And this year I have tried to get back into it, so I got a little distracted with kids and not having a space to set up scrapbooking. You know, you want to lay things out and work it all out. Anyhow, so I have started to get back into my scrapbooking, and first Saturday of every month, where possible, I do a Scrapbook Saturday live. It just works out well with the SS thing as well. So today, Scrapbook Saturday, and we'll be using stamp set, which is Painted Poppies, and yeah, just a really easy, quick layout, really quick, but we'll give it a bit more decoration and it'll take up some extra time. But the layout is very minimal cropping, and I think that's really good for a quick layout where you look at the photos and go, oh, I really don't want to crop these. They're so beautiful, particularly professional photos, and this layout could work with any theme. Birthday, wedding, fun, nature photography, whatever you like. So let's head to the craft desk and get started. So it's a double page spread, and as I've already said, we'll be using Painted Poppies as well as the dies. Now, not the coordinating dies with the Painted Poppies, the dies that coordinate with the other stamp set, which are Poppy Moments, and they cut out beautiful big poppies. So I've done some prep work, and let's start with that. So I've got a piece, this is Whisper White, this is the Stamping Up Whisper White 12 by 12 paper, and all I've done is I had a strip, this strip, just sitting in my pack, and I thought, perfect. What I've essentially done is created my own decorative paper, or DSP, designer series paper. So I stamped the poppies and the leaves, and then this paper isn't designed for watercoloring, I'll admit that. So it has warped and curved a bit, but I figured that we're going to adhere it down anyway, that it's not going to really matter too much about the warping. And it's going to be covered up with photos primarily. Anyhow, so yes, so if you don't have the designer series paper or decorative paper that you'd like on your scrapbook page, remember that you can use your stamps to create your own. And then I took ink refills in Melon Mambo, Flirty Flamingo, and Granny Apple Green, and I took the big F block, just added some drops, and I've still got, well, the catalogue only went live, so when I list the product on my blog for this, it'll be using the new water painters, but this is the old aqua painter, but same job basically there. So Demi, I have already answered your question preemptively, and hello and welcome. They are lovely colours, aren't they? So Flirty Flamingo, Mango Melody, and Granny Apple Green, just to repeat. And now we are going to trim this. I'm going to have it across the full width, so remaining that, but it is going to be 2 inches. We want 2 strips. So bring out the trusty, probably shouldn't put that on our paper either. Bring out the trimmer, and we're going to trim this down to 2-inch strips. And when you're stamping this, remember to stamp off the edge, because then it looks like it was decorative paper in the first place. Another 2-inch strip for our second page. And this one, what we shall do is cut a 1-inch. No, we can leave that for another page. So if you had a third page, you could do that. I just kept the page bit longer, depending. I didn't want to really cut, to be honest. Okay, so we've got our 2 strips, and one will go, let's do that. so this is page 1, and I am a bit particular when it comes to scrapbooking. I want things lined up perfectly, and I want this 1.5 inches off the bottom. So that's 1.5 inches there, and 1.5 inches there. But before I stick that down, we're going to stamp some poppy across there. And what I will do is take up my pencil, and I know that that page, oh no, Debbie, I will call you later, maybe during the week. I'm sorry you have to go back. So we're going to stamp those across. For the paper, I did use Stays On ink, so I'm just going to continue using that. This is an ink that doesn't bleed when you add water on top, and that's why I used it. So I'm just inking up that, and I'm placing it a bit lower than the mark because we're going to cover the ends up anyway, and it doesn't really matter if it's not super duper straight because they're fields of poppies and nobody's going to really know if they were stamped unevenly. One more on the end here. And it is very important to clean your stamp after using Stays On ink because it is a more permanent ink, and we have the Stays On cleaner. All you do is rub. I'm not even squeezing the bottle, it's a very hard bottle, it just drips through the top there, and then I can wipe it off onto my chamois. As so. Again, lining this paper nice and evenly, and you take your pick of adhesive, whatever you'd like to use. I really enjoy using this liquid glue because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room when I'm adding elements, and I can follow my marks on the grid paper. So that's what's really handy, having the grid paper. And as I said, this has slightly warped because of the aqua paint, the watercoloring, gosh. But I'm not too worried because we're going to add photos as well. Now let's do the second page as straight away. And this one I've got 1.5 inches from the top. So essentially the same thing. So if no, I shouldn't work upside down, should I? 1 inch, lined that up, and I have it starting at 1.5 inches from the top. So again, I'm going to utilize my grid paper, and I'm going to stamp the field of poppies on the top as well. And I'm leaving those black and white. Don't want to add too much because we do want the photos to be the focus of your things, and I'm going to put these a little bit lower. Well, thanks Debbie for sharing that. So that's basically, I'm putting it a tad lower than the other one so that the top of these flowers are showing through from underneath. And again, don't stress if it's not even because nobody's going to see that. We're just going to see the field of poppies. Hey Vicky, thanks for joining me. It's Scrapbook Saturday, which I didn't do very good advertising of. My second ever Scrapbook Saturday. So that'll be first Saturday of every month where I can at 2 p.m. or other advertised time, but forgot to advertise. That's okay. If you're watching on YouTube or the recording, if it's not Saturday, what's today? The 6th, please still say hi and let me know if you do a bit of scrapbooking. Now, making sure that that's lined up, and again, your favorite adhesive. You need to pull out your scrapbooks. Yes, I have not done much since last Scrapbook Saturday. I did put some photos down, but not all of them, because I only had one printed in the right size and I haven't printed the other. So there's our 2-page layout. I know I can't fit both on screen, but essentially I've done the similar thing and just laid it out differently. And now is for the photos. Essentially, this, like I said, it is a fairly simple, quick layout. And for page 1, you need one 4x6 portrait and 2 6x4 landscape photos. And then to fill in the little gap, it's a 4x4. So like I said, very minimal cropping of photos. Yes, same here, Vicky. So I'm trying to incorporate my Stampin' Up into my scrapbooking. Now I know this beautiful paper is now being hidden by the photos, but it's the hint of the thing. If that bothers you, what you could do is chop up your paper and then you can use it elsewhere. And I want this one, this particular photo, lining up 1/2 inch. I know when it comes to scrapbooking, I like order, and so that's that. Now I don't like to share my personal photos to the world, so I'm just using these grey cardstocks as a representation. So for that reason, I'm using glue dots so that I can easily lift this up when I'm ready to add my photos. But you would use your photos and adhere it down. And this one again is 1/2 inch. There, and so it's lined up. Make sure I've got the right and now moving this down a little bit. This corner again, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. So 4x6. So this bit lines up. And as I did say in the introduction, you can really, this layout isn't just a theme specific layout. It is really good for really any photos that you don't want to crop particularly. So you just add them in. And this one I have sitting, so I'm lining the bottom, I'm going to line the bottom up with that and the side up with this. Hey Susan, thanks for joining me. Yeah, you'll find out. I'm very specific with my scrapbooking. I like things lined up and visually all even. And then we've got space here for a title, which I don't know what I want to put, but I do know that I want to use the new dies, and I'd probably cut them out in the Melon Mambo color. So that's page 1. I'm doing a double page layout. So we're going, and the second page has the exact same layout but flipped. So we're going to put the horizontal here, the portrait, so the landscape, portrait, square here, and landscape. So we'll start with the bottom row again, because I've got that all marked, and we'll start with the square picture photograph. It's your style too, Debbie. Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong, with the circle, when you cut your photos into circles, there's a bit more creative freedom, but when it comes to these, particularly full-size 6x4 photos, I like that little bit of order. And moving to the top. This is horizontal. Now this one's easier to line up once we've lined this one up, but for this one I have decided to make it a journaling box because it's very important to tell the stories. So your photos always tell a story, and yes, a picture says 1,000 words, but the facts need to be there. Who, what, when, where, why. So I've got my Flirty Flamingo cut at 4 by 6, and then I've just cut a piece of Whisper White at 3 3/4 inches and 5 3/4 inches, so a 1/4 inch smaller, and that will give me space to journal. Tell about these photos, because you want people to be able to look through your albums without you having to narrate them. You know you've done a good job when people, well, this is my opinion. I mean, they're your scrapbooks, so if you don't want to, please don't say I said you had to. This is my personal preference. And I can glue this one down because I know that's where it's going. The order in my order has reminded you to order. Debbie. So my journaling box is there, and so we can now more easily line up. Oops, no, I'm not using the glue, I'm using the glue dots. And you can change the colors to whatever is best for you. Hi Angie, how are you? I mean, I am lining it up and I'm being orderly, but at the same time, I'm not using a ruler fully. But anyway, so there's my 2-page layout with a title, which I would put in. Now I know this doesn't fit. Well, it almost fits. I can't get the camera higher, so we're going to have to deal with that. And as I said, we have some die cuts. So let's put those to the side and bring in all our die cuts and assemble them. So I did the die cutting before the live so that you don't have to watch me. As I've already mentioned, I used the Poppy Moments dies, which are these, and it's a full die set that only cuts out basically poppies. You have the base and the outline, the base, whoop, and intertwining pieces, outline. Here we go. I've got 2 smaller poppies, the bases and the outlines, and I'm using the same colors as I did in that watercolored strip. So its background is Flirty Flamingo and the outline is Melon Mango. Thank you, Angie. I'm glad you're encouraging. Susan, who's watching, if you're still around, Susan, thank you. Last month was National Scrapbook Day, and Susan gave me that little needed push to start scrapbooking again. And then I used basic black cardstock to cut out the centers. I don't know why I cut 2. Now this is just a little bud. Not sure if we'll use that or not. So this is just going to take our scrapbook layout to that little bit of oomph with some dies. And this is Granny Apple Green and the top is the brand new Just Jade. So I did 2 single leaves and 2 leafy stems. So we just need to put those together, and I'm going to grab my Take Your Took. Ah, hello Lisa, and welcome. I'm thrilled to have you here. You've always been scared. Oh, you shouldn't be scared to scrapbook. I guess it is a little, I'm just looking for my tool. There it is. It is a little intimidating to cut photos, and when I bring the layout back in, I don't know how long you've watched, you'll see that this particular layout has very minimal cutting of the pieces. Scrapbooking is just bigger cards. Yes, they are, and they're a lot more memories. So I've just added some glue to that. Oh, keep flipping it over. I love, love, love scrapbooking. I think it's a wonderful treasure to be able to pass down to my children. They do enjoy. I haven't done a lot of their scrapbook albums, but the holiday that we have taken, one of the holidays we have taken as a family. No, actually my daughter wasn't alive or even conceived. Sorry, I just said that. Anyway, I do have a holiday scrapbook. She enjoys my husband and I scrapbooks. Before kids it was a lot easier to get the scrapbooks done. But it's fun to show them the memories. So it's really nice to be able to show them photos from when I was a bubba. Now I'm just using my Take Your Pick tool. This is a tip that's just got a bit of like glue tack, and it just allows me to pick up small bits much easier and be able to add glue to them without getting it too fussy. There are other attachments for it. I just have them off at the moment. And I find this really handy to have when you're adjoining. Now the glue does dry white, so if you see, the glue does dry clear. So if you see little bits, don't stress, they will dry clear. Yes, kids really do love photos, particularly of themselves. And it's not the same sitting in front of a computer. I mean, everything's digital these days. So it's not the same to sit in front of the computer and share photos. I mean, we do that occasionally, but I really love being able to sit down and share those memories in an album. Hi Renee, it's Scrapbook Saturday. So we're talking about scrapbooking and kids. I mean, I love sitting down and looking at my photo albums. I was an exchange student in Canada for a semester, so I really love, as you know, the 5 months I was there turned into 3 albums. And I just love sitting down and looking at remembering memories, tongue tie. Oh, that is beautiful, Angie. Yeah, that'll be me when I'm a grandma. Hopefully I'll catch up. Still got to do my own children's baby albums. I've decided that this year I will start with their school day albums because they're a lot easier. So here's a tip from my days back in my day when I was so young of scrapbooking, is it can be overwhelming as to where to start. And the easiest place to start is with the most recent photos. Kind of work your way backwards. And my kids are little, so my little man's only in year 3. So I feel quite confident to start with his and hers. She's only in year 1. His and her, concentrating, school day albums. So Susan, if you're still watching, guess what we're doing on Thursday? I'll be showing you my ideas for school day albums. So okay, those are all assembled. Got a bit of glue there. And okay, well, take care. You message me. Yes, please message me and I'll try to call you this week. I haven't called because of this nasty cough. Sorry. Okay, so I've moved those aside. Just bringing in our layout. So Lisa, I don't know if you caught the beginning of this live, but here is my scrapbook layout for today. And it's big 4x6 photos. That's the size that you would print them as a standard. And now we're just going to embellish with this. Now, if you don't have a huge amount to write, you can cover up that fact. You'll join into, excellent. Hopefully my new order will come in and we can use the new dies. Thank you, Angie. I started meds that were helping me, but then I didn't realize that the new box was only half the dose I needed to take, so I started taking 1 tablet instead of 2, and yeah, let's just say I should have stuck to 2 tablets. So anyway, oh wow, humpback whale. You visited Australia years ago to research. Haha. Yes, that would be amazing. That humpback whale. No, it's not a humpback whale. Sorry, the new whale set would go so well. I think ooh, what's that? I really like the flowers right there. I'm just deciding where I want to put this one. Because I don't want to cover up the photos too much. What does this side really even need? Let's stick this side down. Is that? Yep. Let's stick what we know down. Again, the Take Your Pick tool is good to use in these moments. So I'm just gluing to the center of, I'm hesitant to call it a poppy because I've gone with pinks. It's not really a poppy color per se, but there we go. Just added glue and I'll slip that in behind. There we go. And now that little flower. The leaf. And where did making sure they don't go over the edge, because then it might not fit in your album, which would not be good. Did anyone see where that little flower bud went? Oh, it wouldn't be me to lose something, would it? Hello? We had it. I use my Take Your Pick tool all the time, Angie. This is one of the best things I've got in terms of craft tools. Use it all the time. That gets replaced. I've even considering getting a second one just so that I can permanently have the die cutting brush on one, and then this. Ah, there. It was on the back of my finger. So there we go. Let's use the Take Your Pick. Yes, I agree. Lisa, that research sounds amazing. So interesting. And where do I have that? Somewhere. So that gives you space still to, excuse me, to journal your photos, to explain, tell the story. And what do we think on this side? I'm undecided. What do we think? Do we give me a love or a thumbs up or something if you think, oh, I like it just like this. Perfect. Simple. So there's still space for a title. And thank you, Lisa. I can get pink. I didn't know you can get pink poppies. There we go. I always learn something, honestly. You ladies who watch me always, I don't know if there's any gents watching. If there are, you haven't commented, so that's why I'm saying ladies. I've always taught me something. So there we have it. I'm sorry I can't fit both. I need to find a way of making my camera up higher. So there's my painted poppies. Let's call it a painted poppies scrapbook layout. Very easy. The photos are the focus. Very minimal cropping. The only two photos that you crop are these square ones. If you wanted to, you could add, like I have underneath the journaling box, a mount as well. So what I would do, you could mount it slightly bigger because there's space. So you would cut the mount at 4 1/4 inches by 6 1/4 inches, and then that will pop out. Then I would, if you were doing that, I would cut this with the mount that size too, and then still just half an inch in from the corners, and the layout will still work. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. Anyhow, so that's Scrapbook Saturday for June. July Scrapbook Saturday. What day would that be? 4th. I may have to change it to the 2nd Saturday next month, but I will let people know on my Facebook page. So please follow me on Facebook. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. I do sell everything that you see has been used here today, so you can jump on the online store link in the video description and enjoy creating your own version. I would love to see it if you make this version of the scrapbook, whether you bought the products from me or not. I would love to see what colors you choose, or even if you didn't use flowers and choose something completely different. Oh, I'm glad, Angie, you're looking forward to next Scrapbook Saturday. So at the moment we'll stick with monthly, and maybe in the future we will go more frequently. Anyhow, have a wonderful weekend. For those in, well, at least New South Wales. I don't know about all of Australia, but for those in New South Wales / Australia, enjoy the long weekend, and I'll catch you Monday night for fantastic fun-filled card making. Bye for now.